What is going on, everybody? This is Mike Hughes, and you're listening to Skytown, everything Chicago Sky related podcast. Had a word fumble there, but thank you for listening. Thank you for coming in. If you are from Skytown's YouTube channel, if you are from Mike on the Mic podcast, or just a friend of mine, or from the All Sports All Plays Network, I greatly do appreciate you guys being here tonight. We have a lot to talk about. I'm super excited about it. We have 3 more games, ladies and gentlemen, 3 more games of the 2022 WNBA regular season. One of those games being with Diana Taurasi, another one of those being Sue Bird's last game for sure. We don't know what's going to happen with DT, who's 40 years old now. We definitely do know that Sue Bird will be retiring by the end of this year. And it is always a blast watching Skylar Diggins-Smith and Brianna Stewart go at it. So it's going to be a dope last couple of games. We also have Kelsey Plum, Rebecca Hammond, and the Las Vegas Aces. I'm all over the place today. But we'll be playing the Aces as well. I'm super excited about that. The last 3 games are going to be pretty exciting. It's definitely going to be one of those conversations, though, that we need to be willing to have, that we need to be ready for. Is really just getting ready right now. We have a great show for you guys tonight. We have an interview with not only Candace Parker and Courtney Vandersloot, but Coach James Wade and Emma Meesseman as well. So we're going to get to that in a little bit. I don't want to hold you guys too long, but we're going to be recapping the last 2 games, back-to-back wins against not only the Connecticut Sun, making that the 6th straight win in the season sweep of the Connecticut Sun. But we also have a great game against the Washington Mystics to cover, because that was one hell of a game. That was one hell of a ride. But to get right into it, we're going to start it off with the Washington Mystics game from the other night. That interview we had with Courtney Vandersloot, we're going to be getting that in a couple minutes. It was a great game. The Chicago Sky won this game by 10, 93-83. Sky right now at the moment are 24-8, currently sitting 25, but we're going to get into that in a minute. Against a 20-13 Mystics team. The Washington Mystics were a lot better in the second half of this season than the first half of this season. I think that's obviously, and it's an obvious statement to make, but they really did make great adjustments, and they really did just play this game well. When you look at the box score, you're looking at Austin, who had 17-0-4-22, Clark 5-3-4-23, Hines Allen 21-4-6-24, Atkins 6-1-2-23, Cloud 6-4-4-23, Williams 8-1-6-18, Hawkins 3-1-5-16. Kimbrough had 7-2-0-23. Macheda had 0-5-1-20, and Westbrook had 10-0-0-8. Overall, they just played great fundamental basketball, but it just wasn't enough. Even though Candace Parker, who was coming back from an illness, I didn't hear what she had going on. It wasn't like a COVID-related illness. She might have just had the stomach flu or like a stomach bug of some kind. Definitely happens. It's definitely something that's been going around. Candace Parker had, in her game return, she had 9-4-4-22. Ka had 19-2-5-28. Emma had 10-5-4-27. Allie had 18-1-3-27, which is, I've been waiting for that Allie all year long, and it's really been coming along in the last few games, in the last few stretches of things. Allie Quigley has been nothing short of phenomenal in the last few games, and so has Azurá Stevens, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Courtney Vandersloot had 10-7-5-23. Julie had 3-4-2-17. Azurá had 11-2-6-24. Rebecca had 11-1-5-21. Ruthie had zeros across the board in 6 minutes, and Dana had 2 points and 1 assist and 0 rebounds in 4 minutes. Overall, it was just a great game. It was a great game, and there was a lot that was going into this game as well, far more than just basketball. And one of the biggest things was, unfortunately, Brittany Griner got announced that she will be facing 9 years in prison. At this moment, we all understand that there's a possibility of a prisoner swap between the U.S. and between Russia, but that's neither here nor there. The reality of the situation is she is doing a lot of time for something that, no matter how you feel about it, is bullshit at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, whether you think it was right or whether you think it was wrong, at the end of the day, BG is family in that country. She is, a fan favorite. She is beloved by Russia, and the only reason things went down the way it went down is because of, the political stance of Russia and Ukraine between America. There's a lot that goes into that, but we definitely have our thoughts and prayers with BG and her family right now. And we just want to get her home. But with that being said, we're going to get Courtney Vandersloot's interview after this game. Sloot, she bared with me. I love every time I talk to Sloot. I love every interaction I've ever had with her. But for whatever reason, I didn't get to go to the game physically. I know it was a home game, and I should have been there, but I wasn't. So strike me down. But it was a situation to where I just couldn't make it, had a lot going on. But we were on the Zoom call, and for whatever reason, Courtney couldn't hear me, and my thing got chipped out. So if this sounds totally unprofessional, I do apologize. But I want to compliment Sloot on her fit. She's wearing a BG hoodie that I love, that everybody can get now online, and a lot of the players are wearing it. So let's get in this interview with Sloot really quick, and then we'll kind of recap the rest of that game before we get into everything that just went down the other night.
Technical difficulty.
Hey, Courtney. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, Courtney. So my question for you, obviously, the bigger picture is always winning another championship, but being a part of such a special team this year, and you've been a part of so many throughout the years with the Sky, can you kind of just talk about what playing for this team specifically this year has meant to you? There's been so many accolades, whether that be player, personal, or just throughout the organization's history. Can you just kind of tie it all in together?
Yeah, I think that, well, with this roster, obviously, I think everybody talks about how deep we are and how good we are on the court. But I think what makes us really special is just our willingness to sacrifice for one another. Everybody, kind of gives up a little bit for the next guy, because we have so many weapons. We have players on the bench that probably could be getting more minutes, but it's always team first. And that's not always the case. I mean, everyone talks about chemistry, and you can preach sacrifice, but it's really rare and it's really hard to find. And we have that at this group. So it makes it really special to play together. Obviously we have a lot of great players too. And it's just that perfect combination of great people and great players.
Thanks, Luke.
Obviously that didn't go the way I wanted it to. It's one of those conversations where, when you're doing it via Zoom, it is what it is. Things sound chippy. Things don't sound great. Things don't sound perfect. But best believe during the playoffs, we are going to be at every home game and do everything we can for you guys to be getting the best material we can. But, the next couple interviews we have with both Coach James Wade, Emma Meesseman, and Candace Parker, it's the same relative question. We do get into a little bit more with Coach Wade, and we talk a little bit more about, during that game and specifics of what went down with the Connecticut Sun. But relatively, I just really wanted to hit on everybody before entering the playoffs, what this regular season has meant for everybody. And it's been one hell of a season. You're looking at Candace Parker being top 4 rebounds of all time. Courtney Vandersloot hitting top, over 3,000 assists, something crazy. Like, they have been hitting accolades this entire season. Allie Quigley, Candace Parker, Emma Meesseman. The list goes on and on. Even Azrae Stevens was hitting huge accolades. She got her, I believe, her 1,000th rebound or something. I forget exactly what the stat was, and forgive me for not having that at hand right now. But everybody has been doing a little bit of something. Even I believe Julie had an accolade with the Sky when she first came in. It was her 1,000th career rebound or something. It's been amazing. It's been nothing short of phenomenal for this team. They've been hitting so many personal goals outside of just personal. They're hitting franchise goals. The most wins in Chicago Sky history in a regular season was this season. They're sitting right now at 25 after beating the Connecticut Sun with 3 left to go. The all-time record, if I'm not mistaken, of most wins in a regular season is 29. And right now, the best we can finish is 28. And that's unfortunate because I wish we could have been the best WNBA team that ever walked God's green earth. But at the end of the day, if we win this championship and we go back to back, then who's to say we weren't? Even if we have 25 plus wins, I think we're in that conversation, even if we don't have the most wins in a regular season. But overall, what a great time to be alive and to be a Sky fan right now. I think, we're really looking at it from that perspective, and to really see them moving the way they are. Obviously, I understand, I've heard a lot of people in the comments, and it's, well, okay, relax. Like, the season's not over. I get it, but it's been one hell of a season. No matter how this season ends, obviously, and we're going to talk to Coach Wade in a minute, understanding the bigger picture is to win a championship, but that doesn't take away from how special this season has been. The support from the fans, the support from each other, everything they've brought together with Julie and Emma and Rebecca and everybody else. Lee even coming in. Lee's a great individual, and she's an amazing person, and she brings a lot of intelligence to this game coming from overseas. And I'm really excited to just see what her role is going to be on this team going into the future. But going into the next game, the Chicago Sky finish off with the 22-10 Connecticut Sun. They beat them 94-91. It was an incredible game. It was an incredible moment. The Chicago Sky played one hell of a game. I think one of the biggest things right now that nobody's really looking at when you look at the Chicago Sky and the way they're moving, it's just insane basketball. They are playing insane basketball. There were leads during this game that they were letting go. There are a lot of sloppy turnovers, and at the end of the day, they make up for it. They make other people pay, and they make Connecticut pay. It's one of those conversations to where I think everybody understands and everybody, is willing to acknowledge that sometimes we start off very slow, and sometimes we do make mistakes very early on, and sometimes we even blow leads. We blow big leads. I believe we were up like 15 points on this team in the third quarter. But one of the biggest things right now, when you really look at how they're moving and the way we're all moving about it, is you can trust this team to be able to do what they do. And for them to move the way they move, it was just phenomenal. And especially the way they go about it. You don't know who's going to call this game. Emma Meesseman, in a tie game, 89-89, hits the game-winning dagger, hits the big three to, they obviously win this game by more than 92, but, that was just foul. That was just foul stuff. But, they win this game, in an Emma Meesseman 3. You don't expect that. That's not her game, is the 3-point ball. Not to say that she can't hit it, but you would expect that from an Allie Quigley, a Courtney Vandersloot, someone along those lines. You would expect that from Candace. You're not expecting that from Emma night in and night out, but that's what makes this team so special to me. Is if James Wade heard me saying that right now, he would say, well, why can't she be? Why? What do you mean? Like, she can be a 3-point specialist if she wants to. That's what I love about this team, is they don't acknowledge themselves in certain roles. They acknowledge themselves as all competitors, all as hoopers, all as basketball players. They don't put a label on Azurá Stevens being the 6th woman of the year. They don't put a label on what her role is on this team. Their role is to win basketball games. And that's what I love about this team. And that's what this season has been predicated about. And we do have the interviews right now coming up. Before that, we're going to get into the box score, talk about that really quickly. I'm really excited about it. First, we're going to go off with the Sun. We're going to go Jones had 17, 3, and 10 for a double-double in 32 minutes. Yeah, Bonner had 18, 6, and 4 and 31. Thomas, 16, 3, and 8 and 34. Williams had 12, 4, and 8 in 31. I felt like she could have done a lot more, but 8 rebounds for her is outstanding. Hieldman had 0, 3, and 0 and 18. Clouden had 0, 0, and 1 and 8. Jones had 10, 0, and 1 and 15. Carrington had 5, 4, and 2 and 13. And Sims had 13, 4, and 0 and 18. From the Sky's perspective, obviously, Emma Meesseman with the dagger, 15, 4, and 2 and my bad, that's Allie's number. Emma Meesseman's numbers is 15, 5, and 4 in 30 minutes. Allie's numbers is 15, 4, and 2 in 30 minutes. Candace Parker had a great backup game. She had a double-double, 18, 5, and 12 in 33 minutes. She really just, was a lot more confident than she was in her first game back, but that's understanding. She's fatigued. She just had an illness. Anybody could be like that. That's anybody. Ka had 11, 4, and 1 and 33. Courtney had 25 and 2 and 30. Julie had 4, 3, and 1 and 10. Azurá had 9, 0, and 2 and 17. And Rebecca had 2, 1, and 2 and 17 with amazing defense. Overall, it was just a great game. And we get into that with James Wade really quick. Before we get into Courtney and Emma's interview, we're going to talk to James Wade just on what they've been able to do to really beat Connecticut this year and even going into last year, and just what the season's meant to him so far.
Last one will go to Mike Hughes. Mike?
Hey, Coach. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about Azurá so far this season and how her role has continued to fluctuate.
That's the wrong interview with Coach. I truly do apologize. That'll never happen again. We have the right interview right here. I have so many files on here. I apologize.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on your 25th win of the season. I was talking to the other night, and I understand, the bigger goal is always the bigger picture of winning another championship and going into the playoffs. But you've coached a lot of teams and you've been a part of a lot of great teams throughout your career. Can you kind of just speak on how special this season has been, not only from a franchise organization standpoint, but player excellence as well? Like Candace is making career, accolades, and Sloot and Allie. Can you kind of just speak on coaching this team?
For me, I like it. I really enjoy coaching them. I enjoy the fact that they're really there for each other. And, it's a joy going to work every day. And, they try to get the best out of each other, and they're so connected. The chemistry that we have is really great. and the leaders that we have on our team, they're all bought into one goal, and it's pretty nice to see, So yeah, I like it a lot. Glad I'm here, and I'm glad we have the players that we have, and we're just going to try to continue to build on it.
And then Connecticut has been a great team the last few years, and this is your sixth straight win. And I know last season, it's a new season. You don't take a lot of things into account, but this being the sixth straight win against such a great coach and a great overall team, what has you really been able to do to really have their number, in your opinion, this season?
We play hard, and we just try to focus on us. I don't really know if we have their number or anything. I wouldn't want to say that, but they make you play hard. They challenge you, and we're competitors. We just like to compete, and we're always on our A game because we know how good the team is and how special they've been over the last 6 years. And so we just want to bring we respect the game so much. We just want to bring our A game and play against one of the best teams and one of the best coaches, period. So that's it.
I think personally, that's one of those conversations we kind of just went back to it. They don't care about who they are or who they be or what their role might be. They view themselves as just champions. And I think that's the mentality you don't see with a lot of other teams. I think when I look at the Las Vegas Aces, I see them very similar coached as James Wade coaches the Chicago Sky. Never too high, never too low. I think you see that with Kelsey Plum and company, and they all kind of act the same way, just like the Sky. And that's why, to me, one of the biggest, it's an obvious statement, but one of the biggest threats this season could be going into the postseason playing the Las Vegas Aces. It's definitely that conversation of they're a great team. They have the same kind of mentality as everybody else. They are never too high, never too low. They are always grit and grind all the time. And that's one of the biggest things I feel like right now is when you look at this team from that perspective, they're really just, they're able to handle it all, whether it be the pressure, whether it be the moment. No one's afraid of it. Everybody's willing to go out of their comfort zone. Emma can hit a big three in the last second of the game, and they trust her with that. And Ka can hit a big three in the last minute of a game. You can look at Allie going into the paint. You could see it from all these different perspectives. You can have anybody doing anything, and I feel like they are very confident with who this team is and who this organization is. And I do apologize for showing the wrong clip of my interview with Coach. It was an interview from I believe 3 or 4 games ago. That was the one about Azure. If you haven't watched that episode, definitely watch it, whenever you get the chance. But before we get out of here, we do have an amazing interview with Candace Parker and Emma Meesseman, just talking about the 2022 season as a whole. And it's more of, it's every single answer is exactly what I expected it to be. Is, we are still moving forward, and we'll see how this season plays out. And this is our interview with Candace Parker and Emma Meesseman.
Mike Hughes.
Hey, Candace, congratulations on the win. My question for you is, obviously you've been a part of a lot of great teams and a lot of great organizations throughout your years of just playing basketball. For you, this season in particular, there's been so many overall franchise records being broken and overall player accolade records being broken and milestones. Where could you place this 2022 team on your favorite teams of all time?
I think, you kind of give the award at the end of the year. When it's all said and done. So I think we are still writing our story. We're still writing hopefully our wins and in the record book. So maybe this is a end of the season question, and I hope it'll rank up there, as number one, because it's hard to come back after a successful season. But we've done a good job of handling success as we handle failure, and just continuing to get the job done.
Thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally exactly what I was looking for. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Obviously, they all agree that if they win a championship again, this goes down as potentially one of all of their favorite seasons. I think that's a no-brainer. Going back to back, all the milestones, all the accolades, and everything else that went into that. It's such a huge part of it. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons to me to why this could go down as one of the best seasons in WNBA history. I truly do, for the Chicago Sky. And I think when you look at how complete this team is and how overall sound they are, it's so much bigger than just what was last year. We weren't ever fully healthy. We're just not just happy to be here, but we're going to take advantage of this moment and this opportunity that we've been given. because they hustled so hard to get into the playoffs at the end of last year. And right now it's this understanding of, we are the top dogs. We are exactly who we were supposed to be last year, but we're still going to act like we have something to prove, because that's the mentality they've always had. And that's what wins championships, is that mentality of continuing to get better and continue to strive. But with that being said, we are out of here. We have 3 more games of the WNBA regular season going to kick off. Last game will be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern against the Seattle Storm. Sue Bird's last game in Wintrust Arena and in Chicago in general, as an active WNBA player. Super excited about that. I mean, all the accolades and all the milestones and all the memories she's created for the WNBA will live on forever. These are her last 3 regular season games, or I believe last 3. I don't know how many games Seattle has left. It's 2 or 3. But it's super exciting, and I can't wait to see her go off in the playoffs and see how that team really just goes on for a last dance kind of ride. That's one of those teams you definitely have to watch out for. Breanna Stewart is not to be played with. Sue Bird is not to be played with. I'm super excited about it. We have the Las Vegas Aces after that, and then we finish off the season on the road against Phoenix. I'm super excited about it. DT, is this her last dance? Who knows? So we'll see what happens. But with that being said, thank you guys for listening. This is Mike Hughes from Mike on the Mic and Skytown and everything Chicago Sky related podcast. Definitely check us out on all streaming platforms. You can follow me here. You can follow me on Mike on the Mic podcast. On all listening platforms. You can follow the YouTube. If you want to see more episodes of Skytown, there are only 2 places in this world that they are available, and that is Mike on the Mic YouTube and the All Sports All Plays Network. You can check those out, either which one you want. I don't have a personal favorite. You guys can check it out wherever you want to, but if you want to see more of me, Candace Parker, Allie Quigley, Courtney Vandersloot and company, you can always check it out on Skytown on YouTube or the All Sports All Plays Network. With that being said, thank you guys for listening. Peace.
Whole sports, all plays. Yeah. Whole sports, all plays. Whole sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports, all plays.